happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited check-in, or accredited chamber. Accredited chamber. Thanks for tuning in today. I've got a great guest to share. It's a long-standing member of the community, and they have over 3 decades of providing exceptional catering and unforgettable events. I'm going to bring the operations manager for a Lively Chef Catering right now. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Yes, as Paul was saying, my name's Peter Steiger. I represent a Lively Chef Catering Company. We've been in the Valley for over 3 decades. We love what we do. We love to make people's dreams come true. I've had the privilege of helping people celebrate weddings, anniversaries, corporate successes, and all kinds of important events. So it's really been an honor.
Awesome, Peter. Well, thanks for carving out some time with me today. I
Thank
mention
you.
to people all the time that when businesses in Boise have been in business for 2 decades, 3 decades, it's still important to keep that awareness on the top of the platform for folks, because there's a lot of people moving here into the region, and if they don't know about you, it's hard to hear word of mouth if they're new to town. So this is another reason why it's good to continue to engage with organizations like the Chamber as well to help get your name out there. So Peter, let's start with you before we dive into all the services that a Lively Chef Catering offers. Tell us a little bit about your background and history of work that led you into the culinary industry.
Yeah, so I started when I was really young. I started when I was 14 years old. My first job was a little pizza joint, where we made our own dough and shredded our own cheese and bug at a pretty young age. Um, I wasn't planning on going on to be a chef, but I ended up always working in restaurants as I went throughout college. So I grew up in small town Idaho, uh, milking cows and moving pipe and working on the farm and ended up after I graduated from high school. I thought I've got to get out of this place. I've got to go see what the big is like. And so I moved to Seattle, and I still worked in restaurants. I was in college studying to be a chemical engineer and or go to to be a doctor. And always loved the sciences, always loved math, and I always just kept working in restaurants. And along the way, I just said, you know what, I'm going to take a major left turn here and go to the culinary industry. And so I think that stemmed from being able to work with some really amazing chefs in Seattle. And from there, I moved on to San Francisco and again was able to work for some amazing chefs and mentors there. And I did go to culinary school there in San Francisco as well. And just had an incredible opportunity to work for some amazing, very, very talented people. And it was incredibly inspiring and kind of helped me guide my career in the direction of that I wanted to go. I started getting some chef jobs, sous chef jobs and things like that in my late teens and early 20s, and started deciding, you know what, I'm gonna see this thing through as a chef. And so went to graduated from culinary school, had the opportunity to do a lot of what we call in the industry stage, which is basically you go and you work for free. Really, it's if you're really inspired by a certain chef or a type of a cuisine, you go and you do a stage. And so you go in, and if you're fortunate enough for that chef to let you into their kitchen, they will allow you to come in, maybe peel some potatoes or cut some celery or something like that. And then you kind of try to absorb a little through osmosis, and I was always taking notes. I always had notebooks with me and things like that. And throughout the Seattle area and throughout the San Francisco area, I was able to do stage in actually multiple dozens of restaurants,
Wow.
and was able to get some really awesome ideas and experiences. I also worked in some amazing places. I worked for not a lot of the young generation is going to know who Norman Van Aken is, but people probably know who Bradley Ogden is. Um, or let's see, uh, Charlie Waters, and some famous people throughout the years that are a little bit older generation, but when I was growing up and being trained, these were kind of the big names, and so I was able to work for them, and get some awesome knowledge from them. And then in my late 20s, my family ended up making the trip back to Idaho. Um, I my dad and my mom both moved to Idaho, and neither one of them had moved to Idaho before, so it was awesome because I was able to um, I was able to come to Idaho, be close to them, and work in some really great restaurants here. And I've been here ever since. I've been here since about 2007. Um,
Okay.
some places around town that you might know me from is the Roost Chris or the Grove Hotel, um, the Arid Club. I was at the Arid Club for quite a while. Then I got into the marketing and sales sides of things at Cisco. I worked for Cisco for about 8 years.
All right.
Um, and now I'm here at a Lively Chef Catering, and things are looking good. July was a little bit scary. We were a little bit worried because the weather was so hot, and so there wasn't a lot of outdoor events and things like that. But since then, it's been just kind of a real nice, steady uphill climb in business, and we're hoping to continue that same trend.
Peter, thanks for the background. I think it's really important for people to know the businesses that are part of the chamber, their teams, experience, passion, knowledge, and for you, the connections here in the industry locally. So I think that's
Yes.
great. So welcome back. I know 2007's been a long
Thank
time
you.
to be back, but tell us a little bit about a Lively Chef Catering, Peter. Um, like I said before, a Lively Chef Catering's been around for 3 decades, family-owned
Yep.
business when it started.
Yep.
Help me share the origin story.
So I've used ad 3 decades. So they started in 1991. It started out with Gary and Melody Haynes, and then their friend, uh, Gary's best friend, Steve Lively, who was a pretty well-known chef at the time here in the Treasure Valley. And a lot of people still know that name. Um, but the started out as a pretty small. They kind of wanted to start under the radar. They wanted to kind of get their feet under them, and they took off pretty quickly. They got some pretty good networking behind them pretty quickly, and ended up being one of the better catering companies around. They were definitely small, like you said, family owned. They only had a handful of employees. But gratefully, they kind of just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And that growth, um, led them to hiring more employees. They sort of expanded their geographical area of operations. So now we just did caterings last weekend where we went up to Atlanta, Idaho, which was quite a trek. There's not a lot of caterers that will go
That's a
up
lot of
there.
dirt roads
A
on the way up there.
lot of dirt roads, a lot of switchbacks, and I think this was about one of the few times of the year where you could do it and not worry too much about the roads. But we were grateful that everything turned out just fine. But that's kind of the theme, I guess, of what we do here is custom. Is really, we like to be custom. We like to be able to take people's dreams, make them come true. I know I mentioned that earlier, but really, what that involves is, could be a small little guy, it could be a really big one. Um, We do, this morning we did a sandwich buffet for about 75 people. And then here, and this weekend we'll do a plated dinner for 250 people, so we can do um, hybrid kind of events. And that's how Melody and Gary really wanted it to be, was they wanted to be able to do what people were asking them to do. They didn't want to have to be a cookie cutter type of an organization. Um, let's see, about 6, 7 years ago, Melody and Gary stepped away from the business, and Steve also stepped away before that. And they had left it to kind of their core trusted group of employees. And since then, there's been some changes, and 2024 was a little bit of a rocky year, with some staffing and things issues that we had, but this year has been night and day. We've really made some great changes. We have a new chef, who's amazing, and some of the best food that I've ever seen. And so now we can move forward. When we tell customers and they call in and place an order, we can feel really confident about what we're sending them and what we're giving them and what's going to end up at their party. We know that they're going to be proud of it. They're going to be proud to show their guests that food. So
Well, thanks for bringing us up to speed on the origin story. I love that a family-owned
absolutely.
business with a handful of employees doing catering, right, and cooking quality food. And you always wonder why people get into the business that they are in. And I bet you it's because there's some passion for helping. There's some community a passion as well from the Livelies in the very beginning. Anyway, Peter, you mentioned some of your chefs. I'm looking at your website: Chef Dana, Chef Jordan, Chef Alyssa, Chef Mark. It looks like you've got a lot of
Yeah.
chefs, so this is cool, right? So there's
Yeah,
some backing
we do.
behind the service. And what I want you to really share today is the process and experience that a client will have when they call a Lively chef. I'm going to put the website on the bottom of the screen and the phone number for those that are looking to get their holiday gathering scheduled. Maybe it's a
Yeah,
strategic plan scheduled. So tell us a little bit about how that process works and that client experience, Peter.
sure. So, I can't reiterate enough. We do have a small team, but our team is small but mighty, right? And so we can do your reservations or create your order for your reservation or your event a couple of different ways. I highly recommend calling in on the phone. We have a fantastic events manager, Lizzie, and she's been with us for years. She's very talented. She knows the business inside and out like the back of her hand, and she's great with customers. She's really always trying to go above and beyond as far as trying to make things happen. So I would say that'd be the number one way I would recommend. We did just launch a new website. Um, that was one of my first directives when I first was hired here, was get that website going. And so we just launched that. And so since we launched it, we've made a few changes, a few upgrades. Um, but really what it allows you to do is to go in there and kind of see what we are, who we are. As you mentioned, Paul, some of our teammates and members are on there, and it really kind of gives that human aspect to who we are. You can see who's actually cooking the food, um, and you can go in there and you can put in details about your event. We are just about every day now, we are upgrading the way that the website works so that it is more customer friendly. But basically, we want you to be able to go in, put as many details as you can, dates, times, colors of the linens, you know, I had this dish over here at this restaurant. It was amazing. And it was a little bit like this. And maybe you could make that specific things. Yes, we do have a specific set menu. Um, but we feel like what we have, we can try to get as close as possible as to what you want. So that's what the website is for, is really to kind of be that impetus for that process so that we're getting things started. We are helping you understand who we are as a company. And then ideally, we try to get back to you within a few hours. If it doesn't happen within a few hours, maybe a half a day at the most, we'll get back to you and we'll talk about, the rest of your event. Inevitably, there will be a conversation and a dialogue, um, but the website is a great place to start. It does have some of our numbers on there and prices on there. As you can see, some of them are based upon market, right? As we know, the market right now, depending upon the product, different times of the year could be a little bit more than others. And so we just want to make sure guests understand that. But um, the wonderful thing about that is that you can see some of our food in there in action. You can see some of what we do in action and in real life and pictures. And then once we get that process started, you have a dialogue with Lizzie or myself. It's mostly Lizzie, but occasionally might be with myself. Then we as a team really make sure that we are communicating based upon what your needs are. We love to do tastings. So if you're a bride or any kind of a customer, it doesn't really matter, but we do get a lot of brides who love to make sure that their tastings, that they're getting what they want at their beautiful day,
Absolutely.
right? And so we do a lot of tastings so that when customers come in, you will be wined and dined and wowed by our staff. And we have a little tasting area, a little tasting room where we sit you down and show you what you will be getting or what you're thinking about ordering. And then from there, you can say, that's not what I was thinking, or that's not going to work at all. Or what we get most of the time is, that was fabulous. We love it. Let's move forward with that, or maybe tweak it just a little bit. But um, tastings are a great way for us to really crystallize that order and make sure that customers feel comfortable throughout the process.
Sounds like there's an elevated experience with y'all. So I just want to recap a little bit how it works, right? Connect either through the website or the telephone. You can even email
Yes,
as well. And it sounds like to
absolutely.
me that I can be a greenhorn event person and call Lively Chef and come out on the other side feeling like, wow, you're a great person to plan events. Or you can be a really good event planner and have years of experience, and a Lively Chef can be a great partner as well. So I just wanted to say, so you have both
Yes,
opportunities. Um, connect, receive the bid. I think there's a ballpark bid. Secure the date. You can even secure your date through the website, and they can either help you
yes,
plan more or, like you said, go through this process and experience. And then what I love on the last piece is on event day, it says, sit back, relax, and savor the moment. I love that.
yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
just lowers all the blood pressure. Okay, hey, Peter, we've only got a few more minutes here, and I want to make sure we get a couple more things
sure,
in.
of
We
course,
mentioned holiday catering opportunities. How
yes.
booked out are you? And tell us a little bit about that.
So we are getting day by day. Christmas, you're talking about Christmas, we're definitely getting booked up. Um, we are filling up, obviously the weekends. So my suggestion to you is, if you can be a little bit flexible, um, we would love to do yours on a weekday. Or if it's not a must date, the last company that I worked for, we used to do ours after the new year. That's always an option. We tend to try to fill up January as well with Christmas holiday parties, and it gets pretty full. So I would say, just the sooner the better. You can get in there and make sure that we can get as closer to the idea of what you want. Now, as far as Thanksgiving goes, it's typically one of those things where, people like to cook at home, but we are available. We are available for drop-offs. We are available for we can be all kinds of custom ways with people. If you want a reheat, if you want something that you can come in, you can pick it up, take it home and reheat it, that type of a thing. Call us, let us know. We can do that too. And
Okay.
so that will help you wow your guests and have some wonderful food, and then you just take the top off and pretend like you started it from the beginning, right?
I love it. I
So
love it, Peter. Okay. All right. So get your plans in with Peter and the team ASAP.
yeah.
Their website and phone numbers going to the bottom of the screen. I just wanted to thank you for your many, many years of community involvement plus chamber membership. It means a lot that you invest in the region that you serve.
Well, we want to say thank you too, Paul, for the regional representation of the Chamber of Commerce. It's a fantastic organization. We wouldn't probably be here without it as well. We've been involved, as you said, hope to continue to be involved. Um, and we are going to put together a package for next year for the auction. So that's still on our mind too. And actually, I might be a little bit more involved with that than the other chefs. So I might be the one doing a good portion of that. So look forward to that, because that's going to be something cool. We're going to put something together very unique that customers can be excited about.
Cool. Awesome. Peter, thanks for carving out your time. Literally, I really appreciate it. I'm sure you guys are slammed as we get into some of this fall weather, maybe. Thanks again, and tell the team hello from us, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you.